All right, let's dive in. You guys have sent some really cool articles this time around.
Yeah, about calisthenics and dance,
Yeah.
not just each on their own, but
Right.
like how they work together.
Exactly. And it's fascinating how this goes way beyond just, you know, getting ripped or something.
Yeah, we're talking about preventing injuries too,
Right?
and even like boosting your brain power.
Yeah, there are articles on the benefits of each one,
Mm-hmm.
but also tips for actually like mixing them,
Yeah,
even turning movement into like art, which is,
that's where it gets interesting.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So our goal is to like kind of break it all down
Right.
and help you see why this could be your next fitness obsession.
Yeah, I think people will be surprised how doable this is.
Yeah.
You don't have to be like a Cirque du Soleil performer or something to...
No, not at all.
Yeah.
So, okay, let's start with calisthenics. I used to think it was just, how many push-ups can you crank out?
Yeah, that's the classic image.
Yeah.
But it's really about using your body weight for resistance.
Yeah.
You're building strength and control at the same time.
Which makes me think of those human flag poses.
Right.
Like, is that the kind of thing we're talking about?
Well, those are impressive.
Yeah.
But think about the core strength and stability you need for that.
Yeah.
And that translates to better posture balance in your everyday life.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even prevent back pain.
Right, so it's functional.
Yeah.
It's not just about showing off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, now what about dance? Everyone knows it's good exercise.
Yeah, but it goes way beyond that. It's like cross-training for your brain. And different styles challenge you in different ways.
Oh, so that means some types of dance are better for like memory and others for focus.
Precisely.
Oh.
Like think about ballet.
Yeah.
All those complex sequences and spatial awareness,
Yeah.
that sharpens your memory and coordination.
Makes sense.
But then you have something like hip-hop, which relies on improvisation.
Right.
So it boosts your quick thinking and reaction time.
So it's not just physical. It's mental agility too.
Yeah.
So now I'm really curious about how these two work together.
That's where it gets fascinating. They actually address each other's weaknesses.
Okay.
And that makes you a more well-rounded mover overall.
So calisthenics gives you the strength to dance safely,
Right.
and dance gives you the flexibility to avoid injuries during calisthenics.
Exactly. Calisthenics builds that foundation.
Yeah.
Protects your joints when you're pushing your range of motion in dance.
Uh-huh.
And then that flexibility from dance helps you do those calisthenics moves with good form,
Right.
which reduces strain.
That's a win-win I hadn't even thought of.
Yeah.
But how do you practically combine them?
Yeah.
I can't picture like doing push-ups and pirouettes at the same time.
It's not about doing them simultaneously.
Okay.
It's more like weaving them into your routine for the best results.
Okay, so give me an example. What does that look like?
One way is using dance for your warm-up and cool-down.
Okay.
Instead of just holding stretches, you could do arm circles, leg swings, torso twists, but with a little groove.
So it's like more fun than static stretching.
Right.
But is it as effective?
Oh, it's not just about stretching.
Oh.
You're waking up your nervous system, getting your heart rate up,
Oh.
prepping your body to move.
Yeah.
Plus, it just feels good.
Okay, you've convinced me on that one.
Yeah.
But what about during the workout itself?
Yeah.
How do you blend them then?
One tip from the articles is to use creative transitions.
Okay.
So like instead of walking between exercises, you could do side shuffles, grapevines, anything to keep your energy up and have some fun.
So instead of marching from the pull-up bar to the floor, I could do a little like, what a shimmy.
Exactly.
That's it.
And if you're holding a pose,
Yeah.
like a plank or something,
Right.
you could take a freestyle dance break, just step back, put on some music, move around for 30 seconds.
You mean like I can just break the tension of a plank and have a little dance party?
Exactly.
I love it.
It's about making it sustainable. Working hard is great,
Uh-huh.
but you got to enjoy the process too.
Yeah.
That's how you stick with it.
That makes sense. But this is all pretty entry level.
Right.
What about people who are already pretty fit
Yeah.
and want more of a challenge?
That's where you get into calisthenics-inspired choreography.
Okay.
Imagine break dancing freezes handstands.
Whoa.
Even some gymnastic elements blended into a routine.
Now that's taking things up a notch.
Okay.
But isn't that like super advanced stuff?
It can be.
Yeah.
But you can start with basic moves you're already comfortable with, then string them together. Add transitions, play with the rhythm.
Yeah.
You'll be building your own flow in no time.
So you're saying anyone could create their own routine?
Absolutely. You don't have to be a pro choreographer or anything.
Right.
It's about exploring, having fun, seeing what your body can do.
Yeah.
And that brings us to the final piece of the puzzle.
Which is?
Movement as art. We've talked about fitness,
Huh.
but what if we go beyond that?
Okay.
What if any movement could be art?
Okay, now you've got my attention. We're going to need another segment to unpack that.
Right.
Okay. So we left off on a kind of mysterious note.
Yeah.
Movement as art.
Right.
My mind is like racing with ideas.
Uh-huh.
But I need like a starting point. What does that even mean?
Well, it's about changing how we see movement.
Okay.
We're so used to thinking about it practically.
Yeah, like getting from point A to point B.
Exactly. Or like exercise.
Right.
But what if we tapped into its like expressive side?
So it's not about being a good dancer or anything.
Not necessarily. It's more about intention.
Okay.
The process, the way it makes you feel.
Mm-hmm.
One of the articles mentioned this thing called action painting.
Okay.
Where you dip your hands or feet in paint.
Whoa.
And let your body guide the brushstrokes.
That sounds super messy.
Yeah.
But also kind of freeing. I can't even picture what that would look like.
Oh, it'd be unique for sure. And it doesn't have to be paint. You could use chalk on the sidewalk or even just water on a hot day.
Right, using everyday stuff.
Exactly. It's about making those things tools for creative movement.
And you said it's not just about dance.
Yeah.
So like what other everyday movements could we turn into art?
Think about your commute.
All right.
Could you walk with more purpose? Maybe add a little swing to your step?
Yeah.
Or turn waiting for the bus into a mini improv session.
I'm trying to picture myself like doing a little jig while waiting for the crosswalk signal to change. People might look at me funny.
Might. But it could also bring some joy.
Yeah.
Not just for you, but for the people around you too.
I like that. So it's not about making some masterpiece for a gallery.
Right.
It's about the art in the process of moving.
Exactly. And it can be really therapeutic too.
Okay, so now we're back to the mental benefits.
Right.
We talked about dance and calisthenics being good for your brain.
Mm-hmm.
And now this idea of movement as therapy kind of blurs the lines even more.
It does. And the best part is how accessible it is.
Yeah.
You don't need special equipment or training or anything. You can do it anywhere, anytime.
So if I'm feeling stressed,
Yeah.
instead of scrolling on my phone, I could put on some music and just like move.
Exactly. Give it a try. See what happens. Maybe it's a gentle sway. Maybe it's a burst of energy.
Yeah.
Let your body be your guide.
This all sounds amazing, but I'm still kind of stuck on the practical side.
Right.
We talked about dance warm-ups and transitions between exercises.
Yeah.
But how do I actually start blending these two in a way that feels natural?
We'll start with what you already know.
Okay.
Are there any calisthenics moves you like? Maybe a handstand or a lunge or even a simple squat?
I'm pretty good at squats.
Yeah.
Not so much with the handstand.
Okay, perfect.
Yes.
Start with your squat, do a few reps,
Uh-huh.
then try adding a little movement, a torso twist, a hip sway.
So like instead of just up and down,
Right.
I add some flair.
Exactly. Play with the rhythm. See if you can sync it to music.
Okay.
You're basically making your own little choreography.
I can see how that would be fun. And then I guess when I get bored of squats,
Yeah.
I can move on to a different move and experiment with that.
You got it. It's all about exploring. And as you get more comfortable, you can start putting moves together, adding transitions,
Right.
playing with levels like high, medium, low,
Yeah.
and making more complex sequences.
This reminds me of those calisthenics-inspired choreographers.
Yeah.
They're basically taking this to the extreme, right?
They are. And they're proof that this fusion can be super powerful and expressive.
Right.
But you don't have to be a pro to get those benefits.
It's more about the journey than the destination.
Exactly. It's about finding joy in movement,
Yeah.
exploring what your body can do.
Uh-huh.
And that leads us to a really crucial point.
Okay. I'm hooked.
Yeah.
What's the crucial point?
Well, all this is great for us as individuals.
Right.
But what about the bigger picture?
Mm.
How might this fusion of fitness and art change our culture, our communities, even what we think is possible?
Ooh, now we're getting deep. I'm ready to dive in.
Yeah.
All right, so last part of our deep dive. We've covered like the benefits for you. Ways to actually combine calisthenics and dance.
Right.
Even turning like everyday movement into art.
Yeah.
Now, the big question,
Yeah.
what does this all mean?
Right. Like, how does this go beyond just us as individuals and start to maybe change the world around us?
It feels like a cultural shift, right?
Yeah.
It's like changing how we see fitness,
Yeah.
art, even just moving through the world.
Exactly. You hit it right on the head. We've had these separate categories for so long.
Yeah.
The athlete, the artist, with all these stereotypes that come with them.
Right.
But what we're talking about, like, breaks down those walls.
It's funny, even as we've been talking, I keep picturing those videos online.
Yeah.
Someone doing crazy parkour moves, but it's so graceful almost like a dance.
That's a perfect example. You've got the strength and skill of an athlete,
Yep.
but with that artistic expression woven in.
And it's not just those extreme cases, right?
No, not at all.
Like a dance class could use bodyweight training for strength and endurance.
Exactly.
So dancers get stronger, athletes get more expressive.
Right.
It's like everyone wins.
Yeah, everyone benefits from this kind of cross-pollination.
This makes me think about kids.
Mm-hmm.
We often push them into sports or dance.
Right.
But what if we encourage them to explore both?
What a great point. Imagine a whole generation growing up seeing movement as this like holistic thing, not limited by these labels.
Right.
It could totally change how they approach being active, being creative, even just expressing themselves.
Yeah, it's like planting a seed for a whole new understanding of what our bodies can do.
Exactly.
Both physically and creatively.
And that's super exciting.
It is.
Because once you start seeing movement this way as this powerful tool for self-discovery, for connecting with others, for pushing your own limits, the possibilities are endless.
I'm also curious about the community aspect.
Yeah.
Does this fusion create a more welcoming space? Because sometimes fitness can feel exclusive.
Right, like you have to look or act a certain way.
Yeah, exactly.
Think about those calisthenics parks, though.
Yeah.
People of all levels working out together, sharing tips, encouraging each other.
And in dance, there's a big focus on collaboration and expression.
Right.
Not so much competition.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So bringing these two communities together could create a much more welcoming environment where it's all about exploring, growing, and celebrating movement in all its forms.
This has honestly been so eye-opening.
Yeah.
I feel like I have not just new workout ideas, but a whole new perspective on movement itself.
And that's what we were going for.
Yes.
We didn't come here with all the answers, but hopefully we've sparked something in you to move through the world in a more mindful, creative, and joyful way.
So as we wrap up, what's the one thing you hope our listener takes away?
That's easy. Don't be afraid to move. Explore, experiment. Find what feels good in your body. And don't worry about labels or what you should be doing.
Right.
You might surprise yourself and find a whole new way of expressing yourself, connecting with people, and experiencing the world.
That's beautiful. And who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe we'll even see some listener-created calisthenics dance routines popping up online.
Now that would be amazing.
It would. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.
Absolutely.